This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 1065. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the host of this show, as I've been for all those episodes preceding. This show, No BS Job Search Advice Radio, is the #1 show in iTunes for episodes about job hunting. And my other show, Job Search Radio, is #2 with almost 700 episodes. Subscribe to both. They'll be very helpful. The other one's done in video format, but if you're at the gym, you can just listen to the show. It's okay. You don't have to look at my smiling face. You can just listen. And today's show is a question about dealing with the cost of living differences between one location and another after the interview's already started, and lo and behold, you find out that there's a big difference between living in one place and living in the new one. Hope you find this show helpful. Please give it 5 stars on iTunes or Stitcher. It does help other people find the show. And if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. And now, let's get going. I received a question from a listener I think is real good, and I thought I would cover it here. And the question is, I live in New Jersey, and I'm interviewing with a company in Seattle. They're having a third interview in a few days at a general manager level, but they haven't asked him what his salary requirement is. They did ask him what he was currently earning at the first interview. So wisely, the job hunter has looked at several cost of living sites like Bankrate, Sperling, which is bestplaces.net, CNNmoney.com, SalaryExpert.com, and all indicate that Seattle's cost of living is anywhere between 13 and 21% more expensive. And they indicate that his current salary should be more in Seattle to maintain his standard of living. Basically, it's a more expensive area, quite obviously. The person asks, is it reasonable to ask the company for a cost of living increase plus an increase as incentive to come work for them? So, for example, if he stayed here and got a new job, he would think he would get a 15 to 25% increase in salary to move to a new company. Is it reasonable to add an incentive increase on top of the cost of living increase necessary to maintain his previous standard of living, i.e. a 13% cost of living increase plus 20%? As he continues to write on, the thing is, if I get an offer, I don't believe it'll be anywhere near my present salary, plus 33%, which is what it would take for me to move. This is based on salaries from Glassdoor, and the company is offering RSUs vesting over several years, and he goes into details about that. So he's asking for advice here. So first of all, I think it's wise that you went out and did some research here. And the research should teach you that, as it has, that there's different cost of living. So, for example, if a person from Seattle moves to, Florida, for example, salaries are lower, cost of living is lower, housing costs are lower, yada, yada, yada. The reverse is also true. Someone from New Jersey moves to Seattle and they find it more expensive. So should you deal with it? Absolutely. You have to deal with it. And certainly before you fly out there to meet with them, it's wise of you to consider how to present this. So for the purposes of this next interview with the general manager, unless you know this is the final interview, and I'm going to come back to if it's the final interview, if this is a third interview, like you say, but not the final, you're still in selling mode. You want them to fall in love because, after all, no love, no money, no job, right? So keep selling if it's a standard third interview. Now, if it's the final one, then it's a different scenario. So in the final one, what you need to do is address the salary stuff, but you want to be not quite as closed-minded as you are here. Salary survey sites are notoriously inaccurate because they poll certain people who are more likely to respond to salary surveys. Often the data is provided by organizations whose interest it is to demonstrate that your salary is low. So, for example, years ago there was a salary survey done by a recruiting firm. everyone's salary looked like they were making too little money. So it was in their interest to say, oh, you're not making enough money. You should come to work for one of our clients and we'll get you a new job. And that was the response for everyone. Now, for you in talking with them, if this is a final interview, you need to address this in a casual way. So if the money conversation comes up, you can gracefully say, this is what I'm currently earning. But I want you to understand, if you don't, there's a cost of living difference between where I live and where you live. And I can't just pretend it doesn't exist. I'm not here to live with 3 roommates if I move to Seattle in order to take a job with you. I have to be compensated fairly. Now, he mentions that there are RSUs, and the firm will counter with that. And you need to respond by saying, that's great. That's my future upside. But for now, I need to pay bills. So the difference between New Jersey and Seattle is whatever the percentage is. It's a range of between 13 and 22%. And that's just to make me whole. It doesn't advantage me in any way from a compensation standpoint. Because, the fact of the matter is, I'm not changing jobs just for a lateral. Now, to you, it may look like a big increase, but for me, it's a lateral just to get the cost of living adjustment difference. And I don't know what an apartment comparable to what I'm living in looks like and what it's going to cost. I'm just working with data here. So I would say to you is you need to be prepared to give me a decent-sized offer. Well, what's a decent-sized offer? They'll respond with. I said, certainly above what I'm making now, plus the cost of living, plus an increase. And since you've already quoted the cost of living increase, they have a sense of what that's going to be. Now, they'll probably work on the basis of the 13% because you've said it can be 13 to 21%. Okay, make it 18 to 21% of your conversations with them. And, in doing so, you're giving them a sense of what they're going to need to do. Now, is it likely the deal is going to blow up? With some firms it will, and with some firms it won't. But let's not be foolish here. If it's going to blow up, it's going to blow up, even if you wait till the last minute. So if you're still interviewing, if this is the 3rd of 5th, the 3rd of 4th, probably this conversation shouldn't occur. If this is the final interview, it's got to get laid out somewhere along the line here, where they might simply say, do you have any questions for us? And you can say, I just really love this job. It's a terrific organization, and I'd so much like to come to work for you. But at the same time, I have to look at the compensation as well. And I've been doing my homework, and I'm finding that the salary differential between New Jersey, where I live, and where you are is like 18 to 21%. Where'd you find that out? And you get websites, the ones with the higher ranges in there. And, if I just got an 18 to 21% increase, that just balances things out. It's not advantaging me in any way. Well, what about the RSUs? Well, that's not going to pay my bills. That's going to be for all the effort and all the work that I put in for how many years until they get fully vested. So for now, my focus is on getting an increase. And it's an increase not just simply based upon my base salary, but getting a cost of living differential as well as an increase on the base. So it's got to get addressed. You can't ignore it. Otherwise, they will extend an offer based upon the lowest common point that will likely be turned down by you, and you'll have wasted even more time. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, here are a few ways to engage with me. First of all, I just want to start by saying that I no longer do recruiting. I coach people to perform at a high level. So again, I no longer do recruiting. But if you visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us, and look at the tabs on the top, you'll see a menu of choices available to you. First of all, you can hire me to do a resume and or LinkedIn profile critique, interview preparation, help you with a salary negotiation, answer your questions about your job search, advise you about a decision you have to make about a job offer, Those are all there as an option. I can do a job search makeover with you where we critique everything you've been doing in your search up until that point and come up with alternatives. If you're relatively early in your search, we can do a complete coaching program where I work with you from beginning to end in half-hour increments so it doesn't have to take a lot of time for each session. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you listen to the show because I love hearing from folks who like it and are interested in my help. Again, linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. You can take my classes on Skillshare too and become a premium member for 99 cents for the first few months. I have a link in the show notes. Just follow that link, sign up, take my classes. Lastly, I want to mention to you, you can find a lot of information at thebiggamehunter.us, and at times it may seem like it's too much. So you can look at the best of my material at jobsearchcoachinghq.com, where I've curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read to help you find work more quickly. Again, that's jobsearchcoachinghq.com. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Take care.